Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, was not one to hold grudges, but one betrayal on Star Trek, The Next Generation hit Jean-Luc so hard that he remained upset for over 30 years. Although Jean-Luc Picard cared deeply about his crew members aboard the USS Enterprise D, he kept himself emotionally distant from them. Picard devoted his life to Starfleet because he truly believed in Starfleet's mission, and he did his best to uphold their ideals. Picard had to learn the hard way that not every Starfleet officer shared his faith in the organization. When Star Trek, The Next Generation began, Gene Roddenberry envisioned no major conflicts among the Starship Enterprise's crew. This rule was limiting from a storytelling perspective, but it became more lax as the show progressed. Early in TNG Season 5, a new confrontational character joined Star Trek, The Next Generation's cast, shaking up the established dynamic of the crew. Throughout his years as captain of the Enterprise, Picard was assimilated by the Borg, tortured by Cardassians, and regularly went up against the omnipotent Q, John Delancey, but no one got under his skin quite like Ensign Ro Laren, Michelle Forbes. Why Picard held a grudge against Ro Laren for 31 years in Star Trek. Ro Laren made her Star Trek debut in TNG Season 5, Episode 3, Ensign Ro. Introduced in the aptly titled Star Trek, The Next Generation Season 5 episode, Ensign Ro Laren was a different kind of Starfleet officer. Prior to joining the crew of the Enterprise D, Ro had been court-martialed and stripped of her rank after a particularly disastrous away mission left 8 officers dead. Many of the Enterprise's crew members were unsure about Ro, but Captain Picard saw something in her. Soon after Ro was promoted to lieutenant, she took on an assignment to infiltrate the rebel group known as the Maquis. She gained the trust of the Maquis but soon came to sympathize with their cause. When it came time to lure the Maquis into a trap set by the Federation, Ro sided with the rebels and left Starfleet behind. With the Maquis, Ro said she had found a place where she felt like she belonged, and her only regret was disappointing Captain Picard. Perhaps because Picard had been something of a rebel in his youth, too, he took Ro's betrayal personally. Picard had formed an image in his mind of the great Starfleet officer Ro could be, and he was devastated when she chose a different path, one that he felt betrayed everything Starfleet stood for. Reuniting Picard and Ro was one of Star Trek, Picard Season 3's best stories. Ro returned in Star Trek, Picard Season 3, Episode 5, Imposters. Star Trek, Picard Season 3 saw the return of Star Trek, The Next Generation's original crew as they reunited with Admiral Picard for one more adventure. After Admiral Picard and Captain William Riker, Jonathan Frakes, commandeer the USS Titan A to rescue Dr. Beverly Crusher, Gates McFadden, Commander Ro came aboard to warn Jean-Luc about the changeling threat to the Federation. Picard still harbored anger about Ro's betrayal, but Ro pointed out that Picard had wanted her to be someone she was not. Both Ro and Picard lamented that they had missed out on years of friendship. In a season full of strong stories, Ro and Picard's confrontation was one of the best of Star Trek, Picard's final run. Not only was it nice to see the characters finally get to express their feelings to one another, but Ro also played a crucial role in getting Picard information about the changeling conspiracy. Tragically, Ro was killed while leaving the Titan, but Picard acknowledges that he finally saw her as she was. Considering characters regularly return from the dead on Star Trek, it remains to be seen whether Ro will pop up again. Either way, Star Trek, Picard provided a satisfying conclusion to her Star Trek, The Next Generation story, resolving Jean-Luc's grudge with Ro.